The world's largest commodities trader posted a surge in profits. Glencore's first half net income jumped almost 60% to $2.5 billion. That's down to higher prices for raw materials and stronger sales, which rose by a third. The company first sold $10 billion in stock back in May, plans to use the proceeds to build up assets and cash in on growing demand. Just want to take a look at how investors are digesting those results. And as you can see, Glencore shares rising by almost 3% there. But let's just get some analysis on those results with Greg Smith. He's Managing Director of Fat Profits here in the UK, joins us in the studio now. Greg, thanks very much for coming in. So as we were seeing there, Glencore shares rising by 2.9%, a favourable reaction from investors this morning. But what do you think has heartened them when we look at today's results?
It's gone down well for investors. Strong performance in the trading division, particularly boosted by energy. Obviously, robust commodity prices have helped earnings overall. No surprise there. It was never going to be as stellar as the first quarter, but I think there's a lot of cause for cheer. Declared a maiden dividend as well. So,
yes, I want to ask you about that in a moment, but do you think they will be able to sustain this performance throughout the year?
Maybe a little bit tough to keep it going. I mean, there's already some caution sounded by the CEO over the volatility at the moment, so it might be a little bit tougher in the second half. But I think sort of looking further out, there's no reason why Glencore can't go from strength to strength over the next few years.
And you mentioned the dividend. I mean, the company issued its first dividend today of 5 cents and may well pay out, 15 cents over the full year, given its stated dividend policy, which equates to, $163 million cash payout for the CEO for this year. Is that fair compensation for his work, especially in light of the fact that his IPO investors are still under the water?
Yeah, certainly there'll be a few battered and bruised IPO investors. I mean, the float was effectively looking back at near the top of the market, and many will be nursing paper losses of 20% or more, so some compensation there. But I think taking sort of a 6 to 18 month outlook, we could see the share price getting back above that IPO, which is slightly mistimed in retrospect.
Yeah, it was,
of course.
And how difficult is it going to be to get back on track?
I think, look, it's a good play on the commodities boom. It's obviously got the trading side as well, which is something a little bit different from the diversified miners. And I think, if you see commodity prices going higher on the back of China, India urbanisation, as remarked by the CEO, then I think it's a good play. In the near term, certainly there's going to be some volatility with sovereign debt concerns.
And how does the trading side, how much of an advantage does that give Glencore when it comes to outperforming its peers?
As long as it does it well, it gives them an advantage, but arguably it smooths out the volatility, and they make the argument that they're pro-cyclical and less exposed than a diversified miner, and accordingly smooths out the earnings. But the reality is they're going to perform well in a bull commodity market and less well if things take a downturn.
And, I mean, there is a report that Glencore will bid some $500 million for Vale's manganese assets, and the CEO said on a media call that he'll look very aggressively, he says, at M&A. Are they a serious player on the mining M&A scene?
Oh, absolutely. I think a large part of the agenda for listing was to make those acquisitions cash and share offers, and it's got the flexibility and liquidity to do so. We've already seen them pick up the second largest nickel miner in Australia. They made a big acquisition earlier in the year as well, and I think that'll be ongoing. They'll be looking at volatility or weakness, if you want to call it that, as an opportunity to get settled, increase stakes and core assets.
Thanks very much indeed. Greg Smith of Fat Profits on Glencore's latest results. Profits and sales rising at that company today and shares rising along with it. Thanks very much, Greg.